Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS, and Washington Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news now, my fellow Commanders fans. Hold on tight, because what's happening right now in the NFL is nothing short of seismic. Rumors are swirling around the league, and they center on a team that's been struggling to find consistency, but is now making moves that could shake the entire NFC East. That team, the Miami Dolphins. And the centerpiece of this buzz is none other than Bradley Chubb. That's right, Bradley Chubb, the versatile pass rusher who's been recovering from injuries in Miami, is reportedly on the verge of a blockbuster trade that could see him heading north straight to Washington. And let's set the scene. The Dolphins, despite having a high-octane offense led by Tua Tagovailoa, are currently in a tough spot. They're 1-6, which is not what anyone expected from a team that was supposed to be a playoff contender. The defense, which should be a pillar of strength, is leaking points at an alarming rate, an average of 32 points per game. That's almost unheard of for a team with the talent Miami possesses. They're in desperate need of reinforcements, and the idea of trading Bradley Chubb makes sense from both a cap management and a rebuild perspective. The Dolphins are reportedly willing to part ways with Chubb, who's only 29 but brings a wealth of experience and versatility to the pass rush. He's a guy who can line up anywhere along the defensive line or outside linebacker, and his skill set is what the Dolphins need right now. The proposed trade: Miami would send Chubb to Washington in exchange for a first-round pick in 2026 and a second-round pick in 2025. That's a massive haul, but when you think about the impact Chubb could have on the Commanders' defense, it's almost a no-brainer. Plus, this move would free up around $18 million in cap space, which the Commanders could then use to extend key players or add depth at other positions. Now, why would Washington be so eager to make this move? Well, for starters, the Commanders have been quietly building a really promising defense, especially on the pass rush. Adding Chubb would be like throwing a tsunami of talent into that unit. It would give them a true difference-maker on the edge, a guy who can disrupt the quarterback, create pressures, and generate turnovers. This is exactly what the defense needs to take that next step from good to elite. And with the team currently sitting at a 3-4 record, every win counts, especially as they push toward the playoff picture. Chubb, as a player, is a perfect fit for this scheme. Standing 6'4" and weighing 268 pounds, he's a force to be reckoned with. His PFF grade of 88, 7 over his career, speaks volumes about his consistency and talent. Even in a somewhat limited role in Miami last season, he managed to rack up 7 sacks, 19 pressures, and 2 forced fumbles in just over half a season. That's the kind of production the Commanders need. His injury in Week 2, a knee issue, kept him out for 2 games, but he's been showing flashes of his old self, most notably in Week 5 when he recorded 15 sacks. His impact extends beyond just sacks. He creates pressure, forces offenses to double-team him, and opens up opportunities for other pass rushers like Chase Young or Montez Sweat. And speaking of impact, let's talk about what Chubb could mean for Washington's overall defensive metrics. Right now, the Commanders are generating around 12 sacks per season, which is respectable but not elite. Bringing Chubb into the fold could easily bump that number up by 10 or more sacks, considering his track record. Historically, when a team has made a trade for a player like Mack back in 2018, it resulted in a huge spike in pressures, over 180 pressures added after the trade. Chubb's presence would do something similar, especially in stunts and twists designed to confuse offensive lines. He's a disruptive force, capable of creating chaos in the backfield, which leads to turnovers and quickens opposing quarterbacks' decisions. Furthermore, Chubb's stats are impressive. Over his career, he has accumulated 58 sacks, 142 QB hits, and forced 10 fumbles. His sack rate of 3.8% might seem modest, but it's a product of how he's used, and his pressure numbers tell a different story. In 2023, he's been averaging 7 sacks and 19 pressures, even while recovering from injury. His run defense grade of 85. 2 demonstrates that he's not just a pass rusher but also a solid defender against the run, something the Commanders value highly as they look to balance their front 7. Now, let's not forget the strategic implications. The Commanders are in a prime position to make a serious playoff push, especially if they can add this kind of talent. Projected statistics show that with Chubb, they could see an increase of around 8 wins this season, elevating their chances for a wild card spot. His presence would create mismatches, especially against teams with strong offensive lines like the Dallas Cowboys or the Philadelphia Eagles. Imagine Chubb lining up opposite of Chase Young, creating a dual threat that opposing offenses simply can't handle. It would also force offenses to dedicate extra attention to the pass rush, opening up opportunities for the secondary to excel and increase turnovers. And let's talk about the Super Bowl implications. Right now, the odds for Washington to make it to Super Bowl LXI are around plus 12-0, which isn't great but could improve significantly with a move like this. If Chubb joins the team and starts making an impact in the second half of the season, the odds could tighten to around plus 500. That's a huge difference, especially when considering the potential for Chubb to be a playoff X-factor, creating mismatches and generating pressure in critical moments. The projection is that with Chubb on the roster, the Commanders could secure around 8 additional wins, giving them a real shot at a wild card spot and a deeper playoff run. But beyond the stats and the immediate impact, there's a cultural shift that this trade could bring. Bradley Chubb is a proven leader, and adding a player of his caliber can energize the entire locker room. It sends a message that Washington is serious about contending now, not just rebuilding. The front office has been strategic about cap management, and this move fits perfectly into their plans to build a sustainable winner. It's about creating a defense that can dominate in the NFC East, which is currently loaded with talented offenses. Now, I know some of you might be skeptical about the injury history or the cost involved, and that's fair. But when you look at the potential upside, especially given the current state of the Dolphins' defense, it's clear that this is a gamble worth taking. The Dolphins are under pressure to improve quickly, and trading Chubb could be their best option to rebuild and acquire draft capital. Meanwhile, for Washington, this is an opportunity to strike while the iron's hot, to accelerate their rebuild, and to put themselves in prime position for a deep playoff run. So to sum it all up, this trade could be a game changer for the Commanders. It's about adding talent, boosting the pass rush, creating mismatches, and ultimately elevating the team to a new level. Bradley Chubb could be the catalyst that transforms an already promising defense into a feared unit that no offense wants to face. This move has the potential to set the stage for a historic season, a season where Washington finally reasserts itself in the NFC and makes a serious push towards Super Bowl glory. And now, Washington Commanders fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential move? Do you think Chubb can be the missing piece for a deep playoff run? Or are you cautious about the injury risks and the price tag? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the team. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Washington Commanders news. We're in this together, and the best is yet to come.